guys, hi! You're Patrina Bromley and Chad Kimball. Hey! Would you like to be a part of our iHeartRadio Broadway Driven by Mercedes-Benz interview series?
Do we get to ride in a Mercedes-Benz?
Yeah, it's super comfortable. Come on in, I got snacks.
And snacks?
Guys, thanks so much for getting in a stranger's car. But it's a really nice one.
It smells really nice. This is the best smelling stranger's car I think I've been in a long time.
Yeah, Mercedes is good for that. They did a great job.
It doesn't feel like stranger danger at all.
It feels like a friend danger.
A very
Friend
well-to-do
danger.
friend.
I have candies too. It's totally fine, guys.
Oh, okay.
So, you guys just celebrated 2 years. You're in your third year.
We're in our third year, 2.5 years now, aren't we?
Pretty much 2.5 years
that,
on Broadway.
yeah.
Which feels like Broadway years are even older than like dog years. You
Dog years,
guys
yeah.
have lasted so
That
long.
is so true. I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
You're right.
You guys have had such a long, incredible run.
We just turned 18.
We can vote.
We're actually,
Yay!
We're actually past voting. We're like, we
Great
just
year.
graduated from college.
Great, my favorite years for Come From
We've
Away.
actually said that because most of us, the original company, have been together
Yeah.
for 4 years, so we could all have degrees by now if we had
That's
done something else.
what would we have a degree in?
Chair
In what
moving.
would we have a degree?
Lovely
There you
people
go.
chair moving.
Yeah.
It's like a
Perhaps
subspecialty.
prepositional phrases.
Kindness movers.
Kindness movers.
That would be us.
It's another thing though, you guys have you still have mostly your original cast.
Yes.
That's another very rare thing when it comes to Broadway.
It is.
Do you guys feel like you just hit a niche together and it worked and you were committed to the what do you blame that on?
I think that's probably it. I mean, and also the story we're telling is just kind of one that people, even if you have seen the show, you come back and you see it, and you see new things all the time, just because the pace of the show is so quick.
Yeah.
But people
We're all on stage all the time,
Yeah.
too, so
Yeah.
there's always things happening.
Right.
What's the longest amount of time one of the characters are not on stage? Because there's not a lot of that.
I'm off stage for about 3 minutes during Jen's song.
Yeah,
That's
you
a
and,
gap.
The Sky.
You and Caesar.
Me and- yeah,
And is
Caesar.
that it?
I think that's
it.
maybe it.
Yeah, I think so.
believe that
All the women are on, I know that.
Jim Walton might be
No,
off,
he's on
but-
stage.
But not, I mean, in another part of the show.
Oh, I'm
because
sorry,
our
yes,
original
he's not in-
actor Lee McDougall liked to hide in the trees.
Oh,
So,
okay. That's fun.
Perhaps he has. Perhaps
It might be.
it might.
It
I'm
might
gonna
be the
stop
Nick
doing this.
actor.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, full disclosure, when I first saw the show, and I do this with every show, it's not particular here, if I know I'm getting a chance to see a Broadway show, I turn my blinders on. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not learning anything about the show.
Oh, great.
Because I want to go there, and I
Oh.
want to experience it. And that happened to the fullest extent when I saw Come From
fantastic.
Away.
At
brilliant.
first, were you like, whoa, wait?
Yeah, no, exactly that.
Because there's a 9/11 element, and so
Yes.
okay.
So, it's very hard to explain to other people. So how would each of you give the summary of Come From Away? Because I swear, I've started with, it's a musical about 9/11, and I lost someone immediately. I'm like,
exactly.
wait, no, that was wrong.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
I usually say that on 9/11, when U.S. airspace was closed, 38 jumbo jets landed in a small town in Newfoundland called Gander. And over the next 5 days, the people of Gander took care of, fed, clothed, sheltered 7,000 people from around the world.
Naturally.
That's kind of what I say.
Welcome to the rap.
And if usually people are pretty interested at that moment, because it's not all about 9/11. It's not
Yeah.
about New York City and the towers coming down. It certainly is about that in some respect, but we don't talk about it except for a tiny moment in
Right.
the show, and we really just tell the story of what happened in Gander. And so I think that's usually what I say.
Yeah, no, I frame it that way too, to talk about the fact that the airspace closed down and planes had to be diverted. And I'm from Newfoundland myself,
Yes,
so
you're
I can
holding the
go
cast
at it
out.
from from that direction too.
Yeah.
To say I'm from. Generally, I start with saying, well, I'm from this place in Canada. It's a small province on the east coast of Canada, Newfoundland, and during 9/11, in a very small place called Gander, all these jumbo jets were diverted because the airport itself had first been built for the military, like during the Second World War. So they have really, really long landing strips.
Gotcha. Thus,
Which the-
everyone was able to.
Yeah, the big jets were able to land there. In St. John's, which is the capital city, there's an airport there as well, but the landing strips aren't as long.
Okay.
So they took planes, just not the big ones.
Right. Oh, I didn't know that. That makes a lot
And-
of sense.
And it's Newfoundland.
Not Newfoundland.
Or Newfoundland. If
Newfoundland.
you say, what is it? Understand Newfoundland.
Understand Newfoundland.
And
Oh, see,
I
that-
called it Newfoundland. I don't know what I called it when I
I don't-
first
I don't
met
remember.
you. You were
Were
so
Were you
gracious.
grimacing?
She was grimacing a little bit.
No,
No, she
When
wasn't.
everyone had
She
to
was
adapt
so
the
gracious.
accents you knew,
Right.
was it tough to hear everyone else?
You know,
Oh, that's so bad.
I think
It's a little
like,
truth telling here in
it's like
Broadway Driven.
any other accent in the world. I think when you hear someone try to do what is your natural way of speaking,
want
it
to hit
just
them.
sort of sounds a little off.
You want to hit them. It sounds
sounds a-
You
off.
refrain from punching them.
Okay.
But it doesn't sound correct. Like you can tell that it's something they're trying to do. Do you know what I
Right.
mean?
Katrina
Like,
was
I think-
incredibly gracious with us.
I feel like I have a pretty good English accent, but I've been told by English speakers, like when I'm working on a show,
Yeah.
that it's pretty good. I'm like,
you're
oh,
like, "Oh,
really?
I thought
I
I
never
was
experienced that.
I'll be the judge of that. I'm kidding, that's not my English accent.
That's your perfect English
That's
accent.
my
My
joke English accent.
Go-to English accent.
My goodness, cheerio!
Perfect.
Governor.
Governor!
I think it's great, but I
So
just
dumb, I'm
recently slipped
sorry.
out of a New Jersey accent myself. So
Had some coffee.
Right? So
Impressed.
if you heard my New Jersey accent, you'd be like, oh, honey.
Yeah.
Right? So we're up, and in Canada, the Newfoundland accent is one that often people try to do because there aren't many varied accents across
Right.
Canada. There's like the Western Canadian accent, the Eastern Canadian accent,
What's
and
the
then Newfoundland.
stereotype that you hear when
Sorry.
someone's
From
like,
Newfoundland?
"Here's my no from
Oh.
Canada,
A
Oh,
bit,
Canada,
bit,
they do a
sorry,
boot,
sorry.
a boot,
a boot,
a
and
boot
surrey."
in Surrey, and yeah, a. They throw in gratuitous
Then
A's
it's
all the place. Yeah.
automatically
Yeah.
from Canada.
Yeah, totally. It's essentially what they do on South Park. Like that is the stereotypical one.
And I've started to take offense to it, and I'm not even.
You know what? You are an honorary. This is as much
I
as you
do
can
have a
get without
certificate.
being.
Right.
I do have a certificate.
It's true.
I,
yeah.
I kissed the cod,
I
so I'm
did-
like,
did
a
you?
cup I did.
Okay, so
Awesome.
we
It was a
all
big
have
moment
kissed the
for
cod.
me.
That's crazy.
That's as close as I get to.
haven't.
It's like when you're
You
in,
didn't have
you're
to.
in like a small place and you all realize that you dated the same person. That's how I feel.
That's exactly what it is. That cod gets around.
And there's the same
Sharp
risk.
teeth.
I
Yes,
tell
same
you.
risk.
The exact same risks are
The
involved.
same risk. We're a car full of surprises. Just wait. So
It's like a dead fish. Kissed like a dead fish.
I was surprised when I saw the fish was not a real fish. I don't know how dumb that makes me sound, but I don't care. It looks so good from off stage. I'm like, oh my god, there's
What?
a real
Yeah.
fish up there.
They did an incredible job.
Yeah, right? Wait a minute.
Chad still doesn't
Santa's
know.
fine.
Wait, what?
Chad
Santa's
doesn't
real.
know.
Santa is real.
They did an incredible job.
Yes.
And it morphed over time because from the very first production in La Jolla, I think the one we use now is the photo cod, the one
Yeah.
that comes out
Right.
when we're
VIP.
taking pictures.
Probably the
VIP.
one
VIP
I've kissed.
cod, yeah.
VIPC.
Yeah,
Got
is
it.
That
I
guy's
think that's the one from
good
Seattle.
Is it?
I think it is because I remember seeing it in Seattle and going, oh,
Oh.
You are
'Cause it
not my
does-
cod.
doesn't look like a
No.
cod. The head is kind of snake-like or something. So over time, the team doing it, and maybe the team's changed, they just improved their technique. And
Got
it's
it.
made of silicone. It has a great kind of like wiggliness to it, and they weighted it and all that sort of stuff so that it plays
Can't
real.
believe I'm in a car talking
About a fish.
fake
Yeah.
As
fish.
cod as possible.
Yeah.
Like the most cod.
But it looks great. It looks
It
real.
does.
From a distance, it's shiny and kind of fishy,
Flubbery.
Yeah.
flubbery. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I give it.
Flubbery.
Slippery.
Yeah.
How?
Slippery.
How did your characters evolve at all when you got to know the person you were portraying personally, or
That's a really good question.
Yeah, I don't think so for me personally. But I also think that would be something that we would have to try and not do. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like you need to. The performance is the performance, and
Right.
the show is set. I think what has happened is weirdly enough, and this is the genius of the casting, I suppose, in the writing, is that we keep getting told by people, "Oh, you're just like that person." Like people tell me, I meet Newfoundlanders all the time because
Yeah.
if they're coming to the show, they contact me, or we know someone in common, or if they tag me on Twitter, I'm announcing this to the world, I generally try and get back to them and say, oh, that's really great. So we have some kind of interaction.
Awesome.
And I meet people all the time in the autograph line and all that stuff who are Newfoundlanders, and every now and then you meet someone who's like, I'm from Gander, and they say, oh my God, you're just like Bonnie for the world, or that guy's just like Claude, or that kind of thing.
A lot of that is just a real tribute to our writers and how they wrote those characters and got to know those characters over the course of how many hours? 500 hours, I think, of interviews.
I think it's
hours
even
they were
more than
there?
that. It's something that, well, the interviews, that's just
Right.
the interviews.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it actually is more than that.
I think it is too.
Well, we'll say 500 just to be safe, and we can also. It's always better to just kind of like keep the,
We'll like lip dub it over afterwards.
yeah, that or that.
It'll look perfect.
10,000 hours.
Perfect.
It's like a big graphic will come up.
8,000 hours.
And our
Chad was wrong. It was 12,000 hours,
I just wrote it.
right?
I think between the two of you, your character is the one I connected with the most because I'm the person who, I'm not kidding, this happened 24 hours ago. I was having coffee with a friend on a park bench and I saw a worm trying really hard to cross the sidewalk. I was like, I'm so sorry, don't judge me. And I got a leaf and I wedged that guy onto...
You got a leaf?
I got a leaf.
Oh, you didn't pick him up with your hands.
I just fell in love with
could give
you.
him
That's
some-
amazing.
give him
I like-
some sort of germs.
No, I would Raja kill him for my own.
yeah.
No, put him there.
That's
so
sweet.
watching Bonnie on stage, it took like every ounce of power to not stand up and go, yeah, yeah, girl.
Here's what you need to know about Bonnie.
Yes.
And talking about meeting the people that you're portraying.
Yeah.
I'm from Newfoundland, so I went home after the La Jolla production, got diverted to Gander, true story, and then later on was doing the drive across that the Oz character talks about. You drive for so many hours and take a boat for so many hours, and I was doing that. I was going to Nova Scotia and taking my car with me,
Okay.
going further on, I think, to Ontario at that point in time. But anyway, so you're driving across the province. Gander is sort of the midway point, which is lunchtime.
Yeah.
So generally, you stop in Gander for lunch, and it's not the midway point. Real Newfoundlanders would kill me if they heard me
There's
say
some
that.
very angry
It's
people.
only about 3 hours away from St. John's, but you always stop in Gander to get something to eat. It's
Yeah,
just like,
okay, that almost
rule.
became
It's
the
a thing.
moment Patrina got banned
right?
from Gander.
Not allowed to go back home.
Another lip dubbing segment of the interview.
Right. Long story short, I stopped into Gander on my way across the province and was like, okay, well, we have to go to the SPCA. That just has to happen. I have to meet Bonnie. So Googled it, found out where it was, drove to the SPCA, and I went in like a lunatic. It's like, is Bonnie here? I don't know if she knows, but there's this play. And anyway, I'm playing her. And they thought I was a little crazy. And they said, no, she's not here. And I calmed down a little bit. And I was like, oh, well, I have a car. Maybe we could call her, or I can meet her somewhere.
Yeah.
I can go to her wherever she is. And they said, no, she's out on a call about a baby moose. So I said, I'm done. Okay, I'm good. She's busy.
That was the sign I needed. That is the bonniest
out
thing
delivering.
ever, and I am good.
Oh, baby
She has
moose.
other things to do. And then when I did actually meet her at the SPCA when we took the concert version
Yeah.
to Gander, there's a picture, and I took a picture of it with my phone, of her like with a moose.
Is the baby moose good? Was everything fine?
Awesome. It was sent to a nature preserve. It's doing so well.
That's so
But it's this
Bonnie.
picture of her sitting down on the ground, and the moose is like lying down with its head almost in her lap. And she's
course
got this
it was.
beautiful smile on her face.
Oh my
and it's a
goodness.
baby moose.
What does a moose sound like?
Oh, I can't do it, but it's a weird.
It's got like,
Yeah.
That's a real good Gander moose accent.
Yeah.
I do some
That's
of the
not
dog
a bad
barks.
moose, actually.
You do some of the dog barks?
Yeah, in the show.
Get out!
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I did not even,
Really
that didn't
excited.
occur to me that wasn't, I figured someone
All
pressed
real.
play on an
No,
iPod.
No, they're different every night too.
The animal
They are,
sounds
yeah, they
are
have-
you guys.
Sometimes it's
They have different
hound dog.
attitudes and things.
I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not going to be the person to ask. I'm just saying it.
Oh, let's do hound dog. Now I'm nervous.
True story.
And that is the sound of animals about to be rescued.
Right?
That's exactly. The fact.
The actress who plays Janice also does the animal noises.
she
She
does.
does a
She
lot of
does.
the cats.
Are you guys
And
just
she
standing
does.
next to each other, trying not to crack each other up?
Yeah, we're not trying. We're just doing it. We're just cracking each other up.
doing
'Cause
it.
we're off in the dark a little
They're
bit.
trying to crack it.
Yeah, it's actually a real fun part of the show for me. It's
That
one of
is
my-
awesome. This was the one musical that I can't tell. You know that emotion ball at the top of your throat? You feel? It was
I never
there.
heard it called the emotion
It's
ball.
my
I like
emotion
it.
ball,
I like
and
it.
it
Emotion
hides
ball.
up there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, at any given moment, if I don't focus, I could start crying.
Sure.
But you're laughing the whole time.
I'm just confused. You can make that emotion ball not make you cry?
Oh,
'Cause
it
you should
takes
say-
a lot of practice.
Oh, don't tell
It's
my
like
wife
some
this.
serious
'cause
Zen meditation involved in
she'll make
keeping
me
the
do it
laughing ball.
immediately when we watch movies. Hold your emotion ball.
Please hold your emotion ball
Okay.
the whole time. I felt it right there. And then, of course,
It's still there. Why is that ball still there? Sorry.
It's your voice box raising.
Okay. Well, no need to get technical.
That's where your emotions are, Chad.
Oh, right. Yeah. I knew that.
Oh,
Anyway, sorry. I interrupted
sorry,
you.
I threw us off with the talk of emotion ball.
Yeah.
I totally get that.
But
I'm
yes, they
excited
do. They wrote it, crafted it so incredibly well in terms of the highs and lows being so on top of each other.
Yeah.
And David and Irene always explain that was their experience in Newfoundland. That's kind of the way that Newfoundlanders will talk to you. Is we tend to tell you a story, and if it's a heavy story and we see that it's getting a little sad, we'll lighten it with a little joke.
Okay.
Because we're, storytellers as a rule, and laugh whores in general. So
What a combination.
Goodness gracious. How
Storyteller.
dare you?
so embarrassing, but it's true.
The official Gander and Use Offended.
You're no longer welcome here, Patrina. We're not laugh whores.
Oh my gosh! Don't revoke my card.
So what do you do on a regular day off? Just being on Broadway, your schedules, you are mentally, emotionally, and physically drained.
I will
Just by
accept
nature
that.
of the job.
I totally accept that.
accept
I
it.
used to kind of poo-poo it a little bit, because the show isn't as hard physically as other shows I've done, but there is an emotional and mental component that is definitely makes me perspire emotionally. Unfortunately, you can't burn emotional calories like you know what I mean.
You
Like,
can when you keep your emotion ball down.
The
That
emotion
burns
ball.
emotion
Well,
calories.
nobody told me this.
You
I'm
were
doing.
sweating.
It's like a kettlebell.
It is.
Kettlebell ball.
It's your feelings kettlebell.
It's your feelings kettlebell, and you can burn those calories.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
We all learned something.
But you're right. So I do accept that. But day off is, oddly, busy.
Busy.
It's Monday usually, and so Monday is everything is open, so you can go and do all of your kind of things that you can't really do.
So that's like your grocery shopping day for
Kind
stamps?
of.
It's like a catch-up
Kind
day,
of,
really.
yeah.
Yeah.
To get the things done that you've put off
It's more
for
of
the
a
rest of the
mustard
week.
day for me.
Relish day.
Catch up,
I relish
get
my
up.
Mondays.
I
I
love all
truly
of the
do.
accidental jokes coming out of this interview. Wonderful.
But hopefully restful as well. I mean, we try and get as much rest as we have a great schedule because we do. We get done on Sunday night around 5, so we have from 5 to 5 the next day, and then 5 to 5 the next day. So we kind of have 48 hours. It's not a real weekend, but it's
I would say it's a 2-day weekend over 3 days.
Now, the math adds up.
Yeah.
It's a 2-day weekend over 3 days.
You get 2 nights technically
Yeah.
off, which I think makes a big difference just to your resting and recovery, and even potentially doing the occasional other thing, like going to see somebody else's show.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you can't burn yourselves out on the kind of performance. I mean you can, but no, you can't. Don't do it. Burn yourselves out on the kind of performance you guys do. So self-care. Thank you. It's okay. I'm here for you.
Chad burns out every
my
day.
emotional ball is
Every
right
day.
at the.
We have to rebuild Chad every day,
It's
like
right
the
at the
Bionic
cusp.
Man.
My emotional ball.
You had your character, but not your main character. Who the name Garth?
Garth,
Garth,
yeah,
yes, had one of my favorite moments.
Yeah,
My emotional ball was really triggered when Garth used
the Bible
the
verse.
Bible
Yeah,
to
he's-
communicate to someone else.
Yeah, it was
I
pretty
have to
cool.
ask that was real life.
Yeah, that was,
so
and
glad.
I've actually never met Garth. I think he's one of the only people that we haven't
met
met.
Garth, yeah. Although I think I met
name
his
is
daughter.
Actually, not Garth.
Okay.
It's missing 2 consonants, so that's what his name is.
Gotcha. We'll
Um,
play a game later.
and a Garth game. But yeah, that's a true story, and it's incredible.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
That's
he's-
that's another one.
I'm trying to do the math, and I'm like, his name is Darth Vader? Is that what you're saying?
We have like a
Consonants?
hangman thing on the
It's
screen
missing
for
2
viewers.
consonants. It's missing bookend consonants.
Okay, I don't want to think about it too hard. It will really hurt me.
I don't want to do this with my eyebrows anymore.
Okay,
No Morse
that might
code,
also
just-
really hurt.
Just
No.
blink it out.
Okay.
You're
I
fine.
don't know Morse code
Yeah,
though.
good.
Oh, okay.
But that moment, along with the song that happens out of "Make Me a Channel of Your Peace," are two of the like just really, I don't know, beautiful, poetic, and what's a poignant
Yeah.
moments in the show that so many people
Mm-hmm.
have a resonance with. Like,
Yeah.
there's like, this was my favorite thing, was when everybody sang those hymns and songs all together.
Yeah.
The
And
idea
then
that
we-
we're
and then
all
we-
saying the same thing,
Yeah.
but we don't understand each other is
Right.
just life in a nutshell.
And then we
it's
just move
beautiful.
right on. We go on.
Yeah, and we go
don't-
on.
Then it
we
hits,
don't-
and there's
Yeah.
probably a laugh within 30 seconds
Yeah,
following.
yeah.
I get up and talk about monkeys. That's what happened.
There you go.
Yeah.
There- and you
anytime
were off
say-
stage.
Anytime you say the word monkey, it's just a funny, word.
I'm gonna move
Monkey,
now.
yeah.
Someone says
This is
monkey.
what this is.
I'm
What
all
is this?
good.
What am I doing?
It's like a gym,
Yeah.
a dancing monkey of sorts.
iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing.